We all went into the control room to listen. Oh boy, what came out sounded just like Led Zeppelin's John Bonham. A huge drum sound. I liked it, but Tom freaked out and said, "Oh, no. We don't want big drums. We want small drums without all the effects on." Moron! You had the best drum sound in the world.
That does taint this record quite a bit.
Dude, because before learning that, I'm listening to this album like, these drums are bitch. These drums are so bitch.
And now you know why.
Welcome to Every Album Ever with Mike and Alex. My name is Michael Mansour, and I'm joined, as always, by my excited and fun co-host, Alexander Volt. Say hello.
Hello.
This is Every Album Ever, the podcast where we listen to every single album in the world, one artist at a time. That's a whole new discography per episode. And today, we'll be discussing every album by
Television.
Don't
go to my head.
We didn't, it's not technically, it kind of is. We pulled this from our Patreon poll. And I mean, there's a lot of really good stuff in there. We just decided to pick this one basically random. And, well, I guess you should probably talk about it. Usually I have a bunch of things to say, and not this time, because I think we just jump right into some bitch.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Damn.
Everyone knows television. People love television. In fact, this is probably one of the, I think, the highest reviewed thing that we've ever covered on the podcast.
No way.
I mean, literally.
No way.
I'll pull it up. You want to pull everything fucking lying?
There's gotta be other.
No, dog. Check it out. Check it out. Check it out, brother.
Yeah, that's
Literally perfect scores.
Retrospective.
Oh, it's right. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. Well, does it matter? Because it's the same with the Clash, because we covered them too.
It does kind of matter, but yeah, I feel like there's got to be other albums. We've done too goddamn much. But I agree that this album, their first album, is among the biggest, most influential albums in the world, and I've never listened to it.
You've never heard it?
No.
Wait, hold on. Wait, hold on. I'm really. Are you fucking gaslighting me right now?
No, I swear to God.
The reason why I'm fucking freaking out is because I'm pretty sure recently you made a comment about it, and I made a comment about it, and you got like, "Oh, you're crazy. You're crazy." And now I'm hearing that you never heard it. So what the fuck were we talking about then?
I don't. If I said that,
you must have misheard what I said.
I misheard, or I'm deeply ashamed because.
Interesting.
Yeah.
This whole time I thought you were a huge fan.
No.
You've never fucking heard it? What the? All right.
I mean, I'm a fan now, but like, yeah, that's not like me to lie on recording.
I think
especially
what if Alex is just a big fat liar this whole time, just making up his picks.
Especially when I'm going on weekly basis saying things. I don't want those lies to catch up to me. So
it'd be very hard to manage all of them at some point.
Yes.
You've done a lot of episodes.
Yes. So I wouldn't want to have to think more than I already do.
Thinking's hard. But well, I mean, I have experience with the band. I've heard the album, the one that people are probably here to talk about. No one really talks about the other two so much. It's a very Gravedigger situation, which we literally covered 2 weeks ago.
I think it's a little different, but
it's less bad.
Yes,
like it's a less offensive thing.
Yes,
for sure. But I think it's like very similar in that people acknowledge the one album and ignore the rest. Start talking a little bit of the history, which we've got from our boy Tom Osman, our history guy. Main members: Tom Verlaine, vocals, guitar, some keyboards. Richard Lloyd, all second guitar. Billy Fisa. I don't know if that's Italian. That I don't know how to pronounce it. And Fred Smith on bass. But it took them a long time. Yeah. This is another not quite as bad as the Laws, where it took them forever to record their first album, but close. Where there's more building up to the first record than like their career as a band.
Yes,
afterward.
quite the lively history too.
Oh yeah. We got basically 99% of all of our information is straight from Richard Lloyd's mouth. And it's from the book Everything is Combustible, Television, CBGBs, and 5 Decades of Rock and Roll, which came out 2017. And he has a lot to say, and it seems pretty reasonable.
Yes, yeah. I'm sure it's a good read.
Oh yeah, for sure. We have a little bit from Verlaine. Little bit.
This little bit.
We'll talk a little bit about that. But I don't know. I guess just jump into who the hell these little fellas are.
Yeah, the boring Wikipedia version is that Richard Lloyd and Tom Verlaine were friends in school in Delaware, and then they not together but separately moved to New York to be poets. But then in Lloyd's book, you find out about his I don't know if you want to call it a prank. It
kind of. This dude is fucking nuts.
Insane.
I like the guy a lot.
I've never heard about anyone pretending to be.
Well, here's a story. This is from our history guy Tom. He says, as a teen, Lloyd got fed up with his hypocritical parents not allowing him to drink and take drugs, fucking dicks, while being on various medications themselves. So he flushed all their pills down the drain and then told them that he'd taken all of them. Hilarity ensued. They took him to the hospital with the doctor, fully aware that there was nothing in his system, agreed with his parents that a trip to the psychiatric ward was in order. This is a quote from Lloyd. It says, quote, eventually I stopped taking the psychiatric medications. I went back to the drugs I knew about for self-medicating. Marijuana and hashish, amphetamines and barbiturates and inhalants. Yikes. Once I got so nuts from not sleeping that I began to hear the guitar riff from Over, Under, Sideways, Down by the Yardbirds coming through my air conditioner all night long. Other times I put silver foil over my windows because I could not stand the sunlight, thinking it would melt me. End quote.
Crazy person.
So that's the dude we're dealing with already.
Yeah.
I love him. He's great.
You know, it's funny. I was thinking about that, and I was in the grocery store or walking out of the grocery store, and someone was driving by in like a hybrid car, and then the like noise, like the slight noises that hybrids make.
Yeah,
it did remind me of like the Fifth Element score, and I'm like, just by reading that quote, that like ruined the way I'm hearing.
Really,
these like bland everyday noises.
Ruined or made better?
Made better, I
There
guess.
we go. There we go. Yeah. That's interesting. Phil, man, that's a hell of a movie.
Hell yeah, it is. All time greatest.
Really?
Fifth Element?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All time greatest what movie ever? One of the
greatest sci-fi movies ever made.
It is like my second favorite action movie.
There you go.
Yeah, and first favorite is Die Hard, so I'm a Bruce Willis man. That's who I am.
There you go.
Tom goes, our boy Tom, he continues a little bit more of Lloyd's upbringing here. He says, Lloyd's parents considered electroshock therapy for him, but finally decided against it. Lloyd mentions how Lou Reed apparently had and recovered from that treatment. In the end, he got let out of the latest institution on the condition that he go into a drug rehab center. Guess what? More hilarity ensued. We haven't started with music yet.
No,
we haven't started with music.
This is this one man.
This is just one of,
I guess, a teenager.
Yeah. So the quote from Lloyd, he says, "I've been in several mental hospitals since then for various lengths of time due to mania and acting out of control, but it has been nothing like the experiences I had as a teenager in state mental institutions. I will never forget those. Frankly, I'm proud to have been through those experiences. While I haven't been to the moon or climbed Mount Everest, I have been to 2 old state mental institutions and several rehabs during the dark ages of treatment." That's scary.
That is horrifying. Yeah, that he lived a full life before he turned 18.
Tom also equated to Michael Gira from Swans a little bit. I mean, a little bit. It's not quite as horrific as Gira's experiences, but it's up there. It's close.
Yeah. I mean, I I feel like Jira chose violence where maybe Lloyd was stumbling through violence.
I don't know, man. To fucking make up that you took a bunch of drugs and then get committed for it, that's pretty fucking stupid.
It's pretty stupid, but there's I don't know. There's maybe it's the quotes. This seems more Mr. Magoo like to me.
Maybe that'd be a lot more heartwarming and sweet, right? Than fucking sad and crazy. So he had a few, big awakening moments. I mean that literally when he saw the Who at Woodstock, where he was, I guess, awake for 3 days straight, and then he finally fell asleep, and then was woken up by the Who. And I guess that was a big deal. Apparently, he wasn't on any drugs then, but that's what he says. And then this is the next big moment. The New York Dolls.
I will never
check out the episode.
I will never get it or understand it.
Alex and I are not fans. If you don't care to listen to the episode, we didn't like them. And that's the thing. It's one of those bands where I get they influenced a ton, but just because something is influential at the time doesn't mean it holds up now. The only people fully and wholeheartedly accept that with a thing like comedy. Like, oh, it was super important then, but like it sucks now. You can't listen. Sure. But people refuse to acknowledge it for music. I believe New York Dolls is the Lenny Bruce of punk.
Yeah.
Good then, not so good now.
Yeah. I have heard that argument with Lenny Bruce. Yeah. Like if you're like in your 20s or your 30s and you're like, oh, Lenny Bruce, like go fuck yourself.
Influence 100%. It definitely did.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you're not gonna listen to it now and laugh. It just doesn't make any sense. It's not offensive anymore. It's not shocking anymore. We move on. Where is this? So this is a quote from Lloyd where he found New York Dolls. He says, quote, in early 1973, I heard about the Mercer Art Center and the New York Dolls. Finally, there was a scene in New York that I could make use of, so I decided to leave Los Angeles and I began looking for a ride. I settled on traveling with a guy who was driving to New York the long way. He had a Lotus Europa. Man.
Damn, they don't even make those anymore.
No, they don't. I mean, you look at it, it's like that shit is not being made anymore.
Yes, that was of the time.
Holy shit. According to our history, man, he says that when he saw them, when he saw New York Dolls at their height, finally live, he says he remembers them being sloppy but interesting, and he thought something amazing was going to come out of New York soon.
I'm so shocked they were sloppy live.
Oh, are you being sarcastic?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Yeah. Johnny Thunders is amazing, but goddamn, they were all on heroin. Yeah. I mean, he's obviously right. And so much insane shit from late 70s New York. I mean, that's where the world was changed.
We've covered touch knees.
Touch knees. Super gay.
Covered suicide. So I don't know why that
Suicide was the only band that came to New York in the late 70s. The
only band from the late 70s we've covered. It's not a good day for my memory. I know we've talked about suicide for sure. I'm comfortable saying that.
There's 150 something episodes. We're not going to remember every single one we've done at this point. I remember when I used to remember every single episode and which number it was.
Oh yeah. No, those days are long gone.
Long gone. So this is how he finally met Tom Verlaine and formed television and all that.
Freshly run away from Delaware. I don't know about freshly, but
he's still I don't know what year this is actually. But he says this is Lloyd. He says, quote, Terry Ork managed a store named Cinemabilia. During the day, they sold movie posters, film scripts, memorabilia. And I remember he's the guy who helped form television. He's not in television. He was never in television.
He's like the fifth Beatle. The fifth television.
He's the fifth TV.
The fifth TV.
Then, I can't believe we didn't mention it sooner, Richard Hell.
I thought I may have misspoke earlier because Richard Hell and the singer, they like...
Tom Verlaine.
Yeah, Tom Verlaine and Richard Hell went to... I may have misspoke.
I think so.
Sorry. This is all new to me.
Apparently, it's new to me that it's new to you.
Yeah.
So Richard Hell was a founding member of the band, which I didn't know.
I didn't know that either.
That's fucking wild. He's a real interesting dude. hearing him talk, I've said this before, but hearing him talk makes me laugh. He has the funniest, goofiest speaking voice.
I know we've like quoted things from him, interviews where he's talking about other bands or talking to people from other bands. So
yeah, he's great.
As well as this having like an entire music.
Oh yeah, I mean his the Blank Generation was a hugely influential thing. Anybody who hears the song Blank Generation fucking knows it, even if you don't know that it's him. I would say, but so Richard Hell also worked at that same weird, strange memorabilia store, so this is continuing from Lloyd. He says, as for me, I usually slept all day and was up all night. I began practicing in the late afternoon. I had an old Fender Telecaster that I bought at the original Guitar Center on Sunset Boulevard in LA in 71. Oh boy, that's still there.
That's still there. I haven't walked in there and I'm comfortable saying 15 years.
Holy shit.
And specifically the one on Sunset.
It's been less than 15 years for me for sure, but I don't go to Hollywood anymore. Not since the pandemic. You don't go to Hollywood anymore. It's Skid Row again. Yeah.
I go there for concerts and a trip to Amoeba.
Dude, I have not been to the new Amoeba since it opened.
I've been there 3-4 times, something like that.
Okay, so how long was this detour? How long has that Amoeba been open? Pre-pandy, right?
No. It opened during, so
at least 2020.
I'm gonna say 2 years. It's been there 2 years.
So you've been there 4 times in 2 years. Compare that to the original Amoeba.
But to be fair, now I feel like if you go directly to the band or record label, they have like cool exclusive records, and that also wasn't as big or popular when that original Amoeba was there. So there's like
there's less reason to even bother.
Yes, price, exclusivity, and then I mean it's a little jarring. I do kind of miss walking the length of a football field if I wanted to switch musical genres that I was shopping for. Like that in of itself, for those of you who have been to the original Amoeba Hollywood location, that was like part of the experience. And now it's just like it's just one aisle over. That stinks, dude. I really love going upstairs to look at movies. I agree. Selection's still great, still amazing, but there's this something less like awe-inspiring, if you will, about like, oh, I want to go get a wrap. Oh shit! It's I can see it. It's right there.
Oh yeah. There's no adventure.
That's going to the Amoeba in Hollywood was an adventure, and it still can be an adventure, but now it's just kind of compact.
Damn. Well, that was a huge detour in the middle of a quote. End quote. So, what the fuck was I talking about?
We were talking about Guitar Center.
Oh,
he picked up the original one on Sunset.
Yeah. So, this is actually a thing that I really love about this dude, because I do love Richard Lloyd's guitar playing.
I have heard other guitarists say what he's about to say, specifically Brent Hines.
Brent Hines
of Mastodon. I know he's a fan of practicing and writing riffs this way.
Yeah, he says there's the quote. He says, I practiced on that guitar with a religious fervor, but quietly, because I did not own an amplifier. I practiced without an amplifier for many years, not only because I didn't own one, but because I didn't feel that I was good enough yet. And in my practice, I didn't want anyone else to hear what I was doing. I was self-conscious to the extreme. I practiced hour after hour in anticipation of when I would get the call. That's me in a nutshell, dude. Again, apparently Brent has. My whole life played guitar, no amp.
His philosophy is a little different. Where he's like, if the riff doesn't sound good to me without all the added bullshit on top of it, then I don't want it.
I do it for all the reasons. I do it for that reason. I do it for the self-conscious reason. I do it for not being able to hide mistakes. I do it, and that's another reason. One of the reasons that Lloyd liked practicing without an amp, because you can't hide your mistakes.
Brent will do an acoustic though.
Oh yeah, it's a whole different piece.
Yeah.
It's I hesitate to call it a different instrument because it's not, but you have to play it differently. Yeah, there's no way.
Sure.
You definitely can't play it the same. And this is where Verlaine comes in, whose real last name is Miller, Tom Miller. I don't know why it's Verlaine or where that came from.
Sounds way more exotic.
It's a better name.
Did you put Tom Miller in Google, you're going to get thousands of guys.
Stinks.
This guy was thinking ahead.
Oh, he knew.
Internet.
He knew there's going to be this thing called Google one day. What? Mark my words.
When you type in Tom Verlaine, I'm going to be the only Tom Verlaine.
Hell yeah. So Terry Oak persuaded Lloyd to check out an open mic guitarist who turned out to be Verlaine. And this is actually one of my favorite quotes. This is a fun thing because it kind of gives you like an actual picture of who this dude was. Lloyd says, Tom adjusted his guitar and amplifier, tested a few sounds, and then proceeded to play 3 songs. There was no doubt in my mind that this person had something both strange and recognizable. I'd been close enough to successful artists and rock stars to recognize the chemistry of that elusive it, and Tom had it.
Oh, I was gonna say, I think the other like most notable thing before we get to this first album is that they had actually recorded with Brian Eno.
Oh yeah, there's even more before that, like how they.
Oh yeah,
actually, because the dynamic of them, I think, was fucked from the get go. And if you look at, how things kind of crumbled not long after they released a couple records, it all kind of comes down to this foundational, like cracked foundation.
Yeah.
Which was, Verlaine really, really, really wanted to be the dictator from the start.
Yeah.
But kind of played it cool for a while. And Lloyd wanted to be a lead guitarist.
Yeah.
And those two things.
This clashed.
Dude, it basically like fucked it from the start.
Yeah. So you have those personality things, and then you have Richard Hell, who didn't even make it.
So the thing with Richard Hell, it's like he was I'll read the quote from Lloyd because it's even better. He says, Terry got us together because Terry basically got the whole band together. And television began rehearsing 5 or 6 hours a day. It was a wonderful experience. Tom was definitely the leader, although in the beginning, if we did 10 songs, Tom would sing 4 and Richard Hell would sing 4, and I would sing 2, neither of which were my own songs. Hell wrote his own lyrics and Tom wrote the music. Hell never practiced bass on his own, so it was important for us to practice together every day, as well as try to get Billy Ficca to play a regular beat because the rhythm section was all out of whack. It didn't matter in the beginning because he put on a show.
We got ourselves a Chavo from System of a Down over here.
Oh, it's
what's up with bass players not wanting to practice,
dude? Seriously,
I heard 2 stories, and now I'm laying it on all bass players.
They need to fucking practice. It's because bass is fucking easy, dude. It's so easy.
I think there's certain players that
obviously you get the fucking crazy master geniuses at it, but I mean like the standard basis, it's like, oh yeah, you can get by with it because it's not the most demanding thing. You're literally supporting, which I think people think that, well, I'm just supporting, I don't need to practice, but that automatically makes it so you're holding everyone back.
100%.
God damn, have I experienced that? Someone who won't practice, and now like we're held up an hour at practice because they forgot how to play the thing. But it's like here, it's like a band. Richard Hell is singing. He wrote his own lyrics.
It's a totally different band.
Completely. Yeah. And they basically didn't exist. This band, apparently, according to Lloyd, they fucking sucked live. Like they couldn't even keep time with each other because
I'll buy that.
Because Billy was, first of all, he plays on the first album, right? Billy, or he stays with them for like the whole time, I believe.
He's still in there.
He's the only drummer, and he's fantastic. He's a great drummer, and the fact that they hated his playing because it was too complicated is just funny to me.
Oh man, I'm sure various drug usage didn't help any of these things.
Dude, Richard Hell alone, just looking at the guy. Lloyd says right here, he says, Tom was on fire playing leads that were so wacky, but they could have come directly from outer space. He says, I always wanted to be a lead guitar player, so there was an ongoing struggle between Tom and me as to who would play the solos. We finally settled on an arrangement where we would split them roughly 50-50, which later became 60-40, and that worked out pretty well. Which is odd that he had you get half, I get half.
Creatively, that is when we've talked about that before with like Jane's Addiction and CCR, and it's just like, I thought y'all were friends.
When someone, this is why, another reason why I love Michael Giron, to reference Swans again. He is that crazy controlling dictator type, but he's not hiding behind like, well, all right, we'll split it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's like, well, just, you're out of the band then, because this is my show.
Yeah.
Whereas Verlaine seemed to be like, at least trying to compromise, or wasn't comfortable enough to like wave his dick around yet. So
that's why everyone should aspire to be in the Dave Matthews Band.
You know what you're getting?
You think he's an egomaniac because it's his band. Everyone gets paid equally in that band.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
And we're not exactly Dave Matthews fans, but that's pretty cool.
It's why I can't fucking hate him.
Yeah. Couldn't hate him. Can't hate him for that.
Yeah. I mean, that's a whole another podcast, but yeah, I'm just like, damn, that's crazy to me.
It is wild.
Anyways,
that's reminds me a lot of Alice Cooper. He's another fucking great dude who to this day still pays the original band royalties for using the name Alice Cooper.
Oh shit! That's fucking cool.
I guess that's the last time I read that. I hope he hasn't stopped in the last couple of years.
We could do another. I'm getting sidetracked. Little 6 degrees of every album ever to Alice Cooper. We know Hawk. Hawk knew Nina Strauss, who has played with Alice Cooper.
Look at that. We are 2 degrees from Alice Cooper.
Yeah. Because of also wrestler, she played out wrestler Shinsuke Nakamura to WrestleMania one year.
Where she played. Wait, she
plays
music?
guitar.
Oh,
she didn't make. She didn't make his music, but she
played it.
Yeah.
Oh, neat. Look at that.
So yeah,
everything's connected, baby. Everything's connected. So let's see. So by all accounts, Richard Hell fucking stunk. Like he just couldn't play. But they loved him.
Hell is in his name. You should know what you're getting.
That's true. He went by that by choice. But like everyone loved him. They liked his energy. They liked his style. He did a lot of like the promoting. He did a lot of like the image stuff. He was like a big part of getting them out there. He just couldn't fucking play. It's just another Sid Vicious.
You know what's funny is that brought back like flashbacks of some like local bands where I've heard that used and then watched everything go down in flames.
Oh, what we mean, like what they're all focused on the
or
aesthetic.
Like, oh yeah, that guy can't play, but goddamn, like the energy
fits the thing, dude.
I'm like, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up.
Dude. And fucking another one that I think about, Kid Congo Powers, he's fine, but he got the gig in the Cramps purely because he looked the part. And I'm only saying that based on the dude from the Gun Club. I mean, we covered all these bands.
That's why we know so much.
Hell yeah. Gun Club, the original Gun Club guitarist, I think he was also up for the spot in the Cramps. He auditioned and he's like a good guitar player. Kid Congo Powers was okay, but he dressed the part. He got the gig. People care what that fucking name is. And
no, yeah, they do.
It's important. I understand it's important, but it's fucking sucks. It's just, I don't know, whatever. The reason why I still kind of understand a little bit is how many bands that I've seen where like they're fucking killer musicians and they look like they are fucking 48-year-old dying of obesity. I said that funny. Dude, it was back in high school days. I went to some fucking show in an abandoned factory type thing, and I see this band, some local band, and it's a bunch of young dudes, metal band, I don't know, death metal or thrash or something. And the drummer was this fucking old dude, huge old dude playing with these, and he's just fucking killing it. He's so good.
Was this Pig Destroyer?
No. He was on drums, and he was.
I know.
But he's also, he might be dead too. Who knows?
Yeah.
But so I'm standing with this other dude that I was like acquaintances with. He was a fucking total douchebag, but I was fine with him. And he's like, it was an incredible drummer, but he was a dick about it. And he's looking at this old guy playing drums. He's like, yeah, he knows what he's doing. He's got his rudiments down. Yeah, he knows what he's doing. Too bad he's like fucking 40. I mean, you're not wrong, but holy shit. And it's odd, like, yeah, it's not cool. It's not very cool. And it's not very like, people aren't going to look at you as like this, larger than life thing. If you're, just wearing a polo and shorts and you're like, you don't really take care of yourself. Or you don't look interesting.
If you're over 40 and you haven't made it, you better Charles Bradley your career. You better come up with the saddest life ever.
Or just like, maybe you don't have to be a fucking wearing tattered clothes and eyeliner, but like take care of yourself. Like look professional, like be fucking dapper or something. Do something. I don't know. Just don't look like a fucking pile of shit. I don't know what to fucking tell you, dude.
I didn't see said man that may or may not be alive still. So.
I fucking didn't know the guy. Who knows? So at this point in the history, we're like, 74, and the album still doesn't come out for another 3 years. So at this point, Verlaine is really fucking annoyed at Richard Hell because he's more interested in looks and not learning how to play bass. But at this point, I think Verlaine is starting to like, assert his dominance, so to speak. And I also think, is this where he starts kind of like coming out like he wants to start running the show completely? Oh, yes, it is. So this is fucked up. And this is like calling back to another Jane's Addiction thing. Check out that episode, by the way. Lloyd says he wanted to command a band. And when we finally got signed, he asked to be signed by himself as Television.
Ooh.
Now,
motherfucker,
dude, see, look, that is fine if you have that conversation before you, or
like if you actually like made it on your own,
or like you recruited these people with them knowing
that knowledge.
That. Yeah. Like, by the way, this is my thing. You guys will get paid, but this is my whatever. But when it's like, all right, what ideas do you have? All right, let's vote on it. All right, what do you think? And then like, by the way, this is my show. It's harder. It's harder to defend. And I think at this point, Lloyd was a severe alcoholic. In his words, a raging alcoholic.
Yeah. At the time, though, they did. They also convinced CBGBs to start booking like weirder bands. They're like, this doesn't have to be straight punk.
Is that what they did? Oh shit, that's fucking rad.
Yeah. So like even without releasing an album, they kind of
had some pull,
changed the course of history a little bit.
Well, they were pretty beloved even before the album came out.
Well, yeah, they had a residency at CBGB's.
This is from Tom that tickled me a little bit. Was it Lou Reed, Patti Smith, who was apparently in love with Tom, and Paul Simon, which it also makes me laugh that Patti Smith was just in love with this lanky, strange, frontman. I don't know. Makes sense. It makes sense. But like looking at it, I was like, man, this dude looks awkward. I mean, she looked kind of like him, honestly.
Yeah. I love how we're like, there's like so many like influential bands in New York, and I'm just like Suicide and completely forgot about Velvet Underground.
Velvet Underground. There's also the Ramones.
No. I was trying to think of ones we've covered.
Oh, ones we covered. Yeah. You're right. Good point. Oh, that was a long time ago.
Was the beginning.
Oh yeah. So I think this is around the time where Lloyd became a full-fledged junkie, and he would have some fun with. He loved Richard Hell. They were junkie buddies.
Oh yeah, isn't it like crazy when you find out like kind of like a Metallica Mustaine situation where like multiple members have problems, but there's one guy where they're this like, brother.
Yep, that's my dude.
That's too far even for us.
God damn. Shit. So now we're finally back on track with music. You mentioned this earlier with the demo. Mm-hmm. They recorded it with Richard Williams of Island Records, and then he brought in Brian Eno to oversee production, and they hated it.
I know it's always like humbling and like crazy when you have these like legends in the music business who, for better or worse, is like they can do no wrong. Like they've kind of built up this status, and I think Brian Eno is one of those guys. And then to like hear that he just kind of like fumbled this band is nice to hear. It's
interesting. But here's the thing: the band hated how the demo sounded, but the Island Records loved it.
Yeah.
So, and the reason why I question how bad it was is based on a future production choice by Verlaine.
Okay.
I'm thinking that maybe that demo was probably pretty good. It probably sounded fine. It probably sounded pretty good. Although Brian Eno has made some questionable production stuff. Because this is the early days of and not the early days of stereo, but they were still kind of ironing things out a little bit.
I think if being a Volta fan or a fan of Omar Rodriguez has taught me anything, it's that some producers are hit or miss.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes.
Or we can get a good producer and they just not a good fit.
Yeah, for the band, the stars don't align.
It happens. Our Fugazi episode, Steve Albini. Steve Albini didn't work well with Fugazi. Like
on paper.
Yeah, on paper. Yeah. And then in the room, they're like, this is incredible. This we're made for each other. And then they heard it like, this sucks. Even Albini was like, yikes.
Yikes.
So Lord was pretty bummed out with Richard Hell being pushed out of the band because, they were their boys.
Who else are you going to do drugs with now?
He was Hell was replaced by Fred Smith, who Lloyd doesn't seem to talk much about. But finally, they are signed by Elektra.
Yes, sir.
And I think it's finally time to talk about the fucking music.
That's got to be one of the lengthiest.
I think this is our longest intro.
Yeah.
In any episode we've ever done. We are almost at 40 minutes for the intro.
Hot damn
indeed. So now we talk about the albums, folks. We do that as well. Thank you, Tom, for the notes, man. That's fucking thorough. So yeah, they have 3 albums. First one came out in 1977. Last one, 1992. And oh boy, I know you're ready.
I'm ready.
Hell yeah. So this is 1977's Marquee Moon.
Good bass sound.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if this is blasphemy to say, but I don't think this is a good opener.
It's not a good opener.
For what this album eventually does.
Yeah. It's a cool song. It doesn't feel like an opener.
It's a fine song. But this band on this album is more than just fine.
For sure. So so all you can hear is the hi-hat. It removes any kind of punch or kick.
I was gonna say, and the hi-hat doesn't even sound that great.
No.
Yeah.
So that whole post-chorus thing, that has all the makings on paper of that makes a perfect opener. It has this fucking really built, and then the him shouting evil, and then how it's like it feels like, oh, this is exactly how an opener should feel. The way it's produced, it feels fucking wimpy. Obviously, best personal favorite.
Yeah, nothing controversial here. Yeah. Best personal favorite.
But I think, and here's where I'm gonna get stabbed. This is one of the most overrated fucking legendary albums I've ever heard. I mean, I think it's a great album, but holy shit, perfect, dude, this 5 out of 5, A+, 5 out of 5, 5 out of 5, 10 out of 10, 5 out of 5, 5 out of 5, 10 out of 10, 5 out of 5. Are you fucking kidding me? What the?
I kind of get it as someone new, because like the good shit on here
is incredible.
Yes. Like it is so unique, and at the time, like let's just get into the fucking title track because that is
where things start to happen. I mean, I do like some stuff before that for sure, but
but yeah, the title track is just so fucking unique. I know I've heard like once I heard it, like it all started to click. Other songs I've heard, I'm like, oh shit, they heard like Television do this. And the back and forth guitar playing is just like, that's a, dare I say, flawless song.
It is. It's fucking incredible. It's almost 11 minutes.
It's the fastest 11 minutes ever.
It makes use of it. Man, some of those riffs in that song are just so exceptional. And the problem I have with this band, it is a across the board thing, is that when you think of Television, you think of their long epic songs like that. Mm-hmm. They don't have that many of those.
No.
And all the stuff in between is like, oh, it's cool, but you're just waiting to get to the big songs. I feel like this entire album is sitting through decent, shorter songs to get to these incredible long songs.
I don't know. I think there's like Friction,
okay.
For me personally, is like when it starts picking up. I believe that's track 3.
Yes.
So like there, I'm like, oh, that's really unique. And then so it's just it's really just like the first 2 songs are okay, and then like I'm down with every other song. I think so. Every song is good. I think every song is good.
Yeah. But a lot of it where you know of this band as being super influential and how like they really did something no one else was doing. You don't hear that on every song. You hear that on like the big songs, on the really crazy good songs, and the stuff in between. I'm like, all right, it's just like a hold me over track. They like See No Evil is the opener, but it's a fucking hold me over track. Venus, I think, is like, okay, that it doesn't feel like an opener, but that's the kind of shit that I'm moved by. Like, okay, that's. They're obviously really good songwriters, or Verlaine is, whatever. Because it's like this really, and I think fucking I already forgot the drummer's name. How could I do that? Because he didn't talk much. That's why Billy. His drumming on that song, it's so spastic and just unusual. Hearing that accompanying this basically romantic song, it's a nice little mix that you wouldn't kind of guess, but.
I think Billy also has a real interesting little drum beat on Elevation. Is it Elevation?
Yeah, Elevation.
It's like he's getting the snare on the like us instead of like the one, or instead of the 2s and 4s. And then doing like, so get the snare and then do these quick little 16th note thing on the hi-hat, and it's just like it's a really cool beat.
Does a lot of cool hi-hat stuff. I mean, you heard it on the opener, even though I don't like the way it's produced or the way it's pulled off so much, but he does a lot of really cool, like I want to say jazzy kind of stuff, where it's a lot of little slight or subtle embellishments, little just
flourishes,
little things here and there, and it keeps it nice and full, but they're weak, and that is by design, which fucking blows my mind.
I guess when you have a narcissist in the band.
This fucking moron, fucking Verlaine. I mean, who am I to say? I don't know what it is. So here's the thing. There's a lot of notes here. But I don't want to go into it too deep before we finish talking about the music. But the thing is, they got who's this fucking guy? What's his Andy Johns?
Yes,
they
picked. And then when I was reading it, it was like, oh, he picked him for a Rolling Stones album, and I was expecting like a big Rolling Stones album. Fucking, what's this called? They picked Andy Jones based on his work with the Rolling Stones album.
Andy Johns, yeah.
Goat's Head Soup.
You know that fucking Hallmark classic, Goat's.
I didn't even know that was Rolling Stones album until I read that.
So he's also the brother of Glenn Johns, who did Rolling Stones and Zeppelin and the Who, and Andy was his assistant and second engineer. So he worked on like a lot of those projects with him. So like, clearly he's like, this is the guy to have. And he's the Belushi brother. Well, you're calling him Jim Belushi?
Yeah, I'm calling him Jim Belushi.
That is the meanest thing you've ever said. How dare you?
Compared someone to Jim Belushi.
Dude, that's fucking cold. But so at the very start of this, this son of a bitch almost fucking left the project and just solely the entire relationship because here's the quote directly from Lloyd. We all went into the control room to listen. Oh boy, what came out sounded just like Led Zeppelin's John Bonham. A huge drum sound. I liked it, but Tom freaked out and said, "Oh, no. We don't want big drums. We want small drums without all the effects on." Moron! You had the best drum sound in the world.
That does taint this record quite a bit.
Dude, because before learning that, I'm listening to this album like, these drums are bitch. These drums are so bitch.
And now you know why.
Dude, sometimes the creative vision is wrong.
Sometimes it is. Sometimes it is.
Oh, and I hope we get shot for talking shit about this album. But like, it's maybe it wouldn't have sounded good. Maybe these songs weren't made for that. But it's not like Zeppelin is a simple, 4-chord verse kind of band.
Yeah.
It's not like they're not being also super. It's not like John Bonham was just a 4/4 and did nothing else. Like
a fucking Kashmir dog. There's lots of things going on there.
Oh yeah. Like, did he just not like good drums? What's wrong? Big drums are the best.
He's like, That'd be a shame if something were to happen to these great sounding drums.
It's another fucking And Justice for All situation. You know what? Bring that bass to where no one in the world can hear it.
God fucking damn it.
All right, Alex. Sorry to do this to you, but it's time to talk about balls.
Why? I don't know why you'd be sorry to talk about that.
You're right. I'm not sorry. You got me.
Yeah.
Support for every album member with Mike and Alex is brought to you by Manscaped, the best in men's below the waist grooming. Products are precision engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped's performance package is the ultimate men's hygiene bundle. So join over 7 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer at 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code EAE at manscaped.com. Before Manscaped, and I'm being completely real with you here, it would take me 3 days to groom myself because there's nothing more nerve-wracking than holding a goddamn a blade next to your sack. There's no right way to do it until now, baby.
Until now. Yeah, because even if you have a razor, maybe for your head, maybe for your face, those don't care about your boys downstairs.
Dude, and I have friends, and I have one particular who's, to this day, he's like refused. Like, how could you do that to yourself? How could you put something against your nuts? And I'll tell you how I fucking can, you son of a bitch. Nope, it's the wrong one. With this son of a bitch right here, the fucking Lawnmower 4.0. I mean, it's just so easy. It's so goddamn easy.
Idiot proof.
So I've been using Manscaped for a long time, but now they got the Performance Package 4.0, and goddamn does it have a lot in it. In this package, you got the Lawnmower 4.0, you got the Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, the Crop Preserver ball deodorant, where's some fucking bitch? This shit ball deodorant, the Crop Reviver toner, which is nutsack banaka, and also Performance Boxer Briefs and a travel bag, which is this son of a bitch right here.
Can I just go through individually and endorse some of these?
You may. I would recommend you stay away from this one because I did use it.
I've been thinking about buying a nose hair trimmer for a while. As you can see, I'm a hairy dude, and this was excellent.
It's also waterproof, and it has a proprietary skin safe technology, which helps reduce nicks, snags, and tugs in those delicate nose holes. Hell yeah.
No tugs for me personally when I used it. I was a little nervous. Smooth, amazing, like my favorite Santana song.
I've used nose hair trimmers before. I have one, and it sucks.
It does?
I'm not even kidding, dude. It sucks. This smooth.
That's the one to go with.
One, you got the ceramic blade here, advanced skin safe technologies to help reduce nicks and cuts. Of course, it doesn't mean you can go at your sack like a fucking actual lawnmower.
Don't be a fucking animal.
Don't be an animal. All right.
That's part of why you're using Manscaped.
It's also got a 4000K LED spotlight. Or is it? There we go. Can you see that? There we go. In case you need a little bit more precise shave or you decide to shave yourself in the dark. Because it's waterproof, it means no more evidence. Do it in the shower. All right. Don't leave a mess for your mom to clean up. I know how you do things. Don't fucking do that.
I've been using this stuff for a week, and ball deodorant is just one of those things where I'm like, this seems like a no-brainer. I should have had this in my life from the very beginning.
Dude, don't discuss the people in your life, all right? I'm saying is do it for yourself, but for real, do it for your significant other, dude. They got to fucking deal with that, all right? Your head isn't down there. Manscaped even threw in 2 free gifts to the Performance Package 4.0, the Manscaped Boxers and the Shit Shovel Bag.
I'm not lying. I have the boxers on right now.
You got them on right now?
Not even being hyperbolic. By far the comfiest pair of boxers I own.
Just go to manscaped.com and get 20% off plus free shipping with the code EAE. It helps us out. It helps us out a whole lot. And it'll help yourself out, goddammit. That's why you're doing this. That's why you're here. You want to help yourself. I don't blame you. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code EAE at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use code EAE. Unlock your confidence, boys, and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped. All right, let's get back to the show. But back to the music. Okay, so and then it does lead into my point about friction, where that's like one of the hardest things on the album, and it doesn't feel very hard. Like the riffs are hard, but it's not like a heavy song. There's no kick to it.
There's not really anything heavy about this.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, it's just kind of their own unique thing on this album, at least.
But there's a lot of like I don't know, classic rock kind of stuff. A lot of garage rock. It's not a punk record. It's not a late 70s punk record, even though it might seem like that on the surface.
Yeah, I saw. Shit, I hope it was this, and if it was a different album, I apologize. But I saw a quote where it's like, garage rockers who like aspire to be like avant-garde musicians.
That was the description of the television
of this album. Yeah, and I'm like, that's pretty like
it's diminishing, but it's not unfounded. I see it.
Yeah.
But they are really fucking good though. They're really really good.
These songs you can play if you were a bad musician.
And there's like there's some quotes I want to get into about how Lloyd recorded some of the stuff. He's like, man, it's really impressive and fascinating too. But a little bit more about the songs. Elevation, which you mentioned earlier, goddamn. I think that's like, it's up there with my
it's like the darkest thing on the album.
I wouldn't call it the darkest. I think the closer is the darkest.
I love to me that was more like big and dramatic.
It is. Yeah. It's all those things. So that's the thing. And one thing I will give them credit for, I don't know if you'll agree, but every album, they close it with the best song on the album. In my opinion.
I disagree with that.
Every album, you just know by now, like the last song is always my favorite on a television album.
Torn Curtain is a great song, but yeah, to me, this is one of the few albums where I'm like, okay, finally, the title track makes sense. Because a lot of times I feel like the title track is underwhelming and I don't understand why the whole album is named after it. This one,
it makes sense.
This one fucking makes sense.
It definitely makes sense. And I like that it's track 4 too.
Mm-hmm. Right in the middle.
But Torn Curtain really, I can listen. I think it's 7 flawless fucking minutes.
Yeah.
Like I can listen to that chorus on loop for years, maybe.
Yeah.
It just got total earworm. Since the first time I heard it, I was like, this is like the greatest thing. Fucking love it.
It is funny that he said Brian Eno didn't know how to record them, and like it made me think of certain Bowie songs, and I'm like, Brian Eno recorded the shit out of those Bowie songs.
Yeah, but he's not perfect.
No. No, he's not perfect. But I did think it was funny how I'm like, man, I want to hear it.
Yeah.
I want to hear it.
Is it out there?
I don't know. I don't think it's out there. Just I
wonder if there's I feel like something must have gotten leaked at some point, but maybe not.
Yeah, I feel like if it was out there, we would know about it. There'd be like
a bunch of reissues.
There'd be like the Marquee, the same way with the Stooges, how there's like
the deluxe edition would have it. Yeah,
something like that.
Let's see. What else? Okay, so. And ultimately why I think this is so overrated, even though it is a very good album. 8 tracks total. I think 4 are worthy of that praise, and the other 4 are just fine. And my ultimate citation for just fine is fucking Prove It, which is just a rewrite of Stand By Me. It's like
That's
what I mean. Like
about that.
That's what I mean about it being like pretty not innovative at all. You know what? Put on prove it because it's not like they just stole Stand By Me. I mean, foundationally the structure is exactly the same, and it feels like it.
You son of a bitch, Mike. Just Stand By Me. Yeah. So, and it does have a very cool chorus that's completely, unique. But I can't unhear that shit. It's like, oh, this is just, Yeah.
You can hear their influences on their sleeves with the stuff that's kind of like, just fine. And I feel the same thing with the Guiding Light, where it's just like, it's fine, but it's nothing like people from this time period weren't doing.
Yeah, I don't know. Something about Elevation and Guiding Light.
Elevation is fucking incredible. Yeah.
So, and then I don't know. I like the placement of it. I think, the worst thing about this album is definitely the way it's recorded, and then the first two songs. I love Venus. I think Venus is incredible. Yeah, I don't know. It's they're cool songs. They're fine songs. They're just not like
they're not openers.
They're not. I think when you have such strong songs like the title track and Torn Curtain, it's like there's some diminishing returns on the okay ones just by comparison.
Honestly, what would be a good opener like that from this collection of songs? I don't think they can do openers. I mean, across the board, they've never done like a song. I'm like, yeah, hell yeah, the album has started now.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe Friction.
It's the hardest, but like I said before, it's not even really hard. It's too kooky to be hard.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think Friction maybe.
Maybe
if I was doing a remix.
Yeah, this is one of the ones where I have to disagree with the whole world. Like, and it's the same with, even though I do think London Calling is the Clash's best album, like that one also got near perfect scores, or I think it did get perfect scores. And this one, I think it is. I think Marquee Moon is the highest reviewed because, retrospective, perfect across the board. At the time, perfect. A+, 5 out of 5, A+.
Yeah.
At the time, it was also flawless at reviews.
But commercially in America failed.
I don't mean commercially. I mean like critically. Where people call this like the second coming. Like, I mean,
I could see.
I don't get it, man.
I could see getting starry-eyed about the strong stuff on here.
Exactly, but there's a lot of albums where they have these incredible things, and then you kind of ignore the rest. It doesn't mean the album is a fucking gem of a perfect piece of, I don't know, plutonium, something like. Oh, is plutonium valuable? I just pulled it out of my ass.
According to Back to the Future, it's very valuable.
According to those terrorists,
and you can get it at the Puente Hills Mall in the middle of the night in Southern California.
What a great movie. But yeah, I guess we're I'm just gonna chalk it up to getting starry-eyed about the things that are really fucking good on this album. And then I think also when you have something that kind of flopped commercially and people feel like they missed out on. Yeah, maybe.
And then like, oh shit, they're back. And it's just,
I think about other albums that were released in 77, and I was surprised at some of them. Like a little bit more in the genre is Pink Flag by Wire, which is another one that, I mean, it got wildly good reviews, and it's an incredible album. And I find that one to be so much better than I mean, they're different bands and different albums, but like, in terms of the kind of album it is, whereas Pink Flag has like a million short songs and they all kind of revolve around a couple notes and they're really simple, and there's not really too many like, oh, holy shit, this song is incredible. Yeah. It just stays at an incredibly high level from beginning to end, where this one, it's like, and it's like, I prefer the consistency. I prefer, you know what I mean? Yeah.
I got you.
But there was some interesting stuff behind the recording of this. Lloyd says when I think he got very really obsessive around this time period, and he started practicing imagining his heroes in the room with him, criticizing him. So like,
oh man, that's not good for your mental health.
He was high, dude. Yeah. He was on all kinds of drugs.
Yeah.
So he says those solos were constructed under the direct imaginary criticism of those personages. And for all my self-deprecation, low self-esteem, and perfectionism, those solos meet the criteria. That's why I often played them live exactly as they were recorded, because they had been honed to the point that they could not be improved upon. Something I did skip over is we talked about the long history they had, but even before going into record, they practiced the shit out of this album. For sure. And not only that, like 3 years, most like all these songs were still, they were on rotation. So that's why this album is like the same way I felt about The Laws, where like, oh, you hear how long they've been playing these fucking songs. They know the songs.
Yeah.
Let's see. What was the other? This is a fucking interesting one. It's about his solos on here, because the guitar playing on here is phenomenal. The guitar interplay is very good. But I like the way he makes solos. They're very interesting, and they're always like some of the most interesting, if not the most interesting aspects of these albums. But this is what he said. After we finished Venus, I asked if I could double my part and told them I could reproduce anything that I had already done perfectly. Neither Tom nor Andy believed me, and they both said it couldn't be done. I said, give me a shot. It'll only take 10 minutes to find out. They looked at each other and then okayed it. I went back into the recording room alone, put on the headphones, and in one pass, I doubled the complicated melodies and filigrees that I had put on Venus. When I came back into the room, they were saying they couldn't believe it, but it sounded perfect. Tom wanted me to do it on everything, but I knew that it was kind of a ear candy, so that should come in and out of various songs to make it a real record. So I refused to do it in some instances, and in others, I did double or more. Elevation is double tracked on. Yeah, that one has on. He says there are 8. Oh yeah, on A Guiding Light, there are 8 tracks of him playing the same thing, which is insane. So for those who maybe don't really understand like why that's impressive or something, it's not. It's like so. There's a thing with double tracking vocals. Even if you sing it exactly the same, you'll still hear it. Like you'll hear 2 voices, just because you can't replicate a frequency. There's just so much you can hit the same note, but there's just, there's a change in how much breath is being expelled. So it'll feel and sound different. And that slight subtle change, you'll hear it when it's lined up exactly with a different vocal track. So when playing it, when doing that with a solo, is very hard, because maybe you bent it a little bit differently, and then there it is. Then you hear the difference. So it's actually tough to do. I've done it with one solo with the first album that I did, because it was, again, I played it so many times that it was reflex, and it just came out fine. But he did it a lot. He did it with a lot of songs.
Fucking impressive.
It's crazy stuff. But yeah, they came out, and people liked it, and it didn't sell well, but.
Well, not in America. I feel like
UK, it was like number 7 on the old charts or something like that. Everything does better in UK, I feel like, or everything that we like. Yeah. But both of our best personal favorites, as well as every single person who's watching this, because who the fuck disagrees with that? But we got a couple more. So this is the follow-up. This is 1978's Adventure.
Not the same.
Not the same at all. This is, you thought fucking See No Evil was a weak opener.
Oh boy, yeah. Also, he starts his Lou Reedification of his vocal performance here.
A little bit. It's not so bad yet.
Not yet, but I can hear it.
He's not wiry like he was in the debut. Dude, this song is the most forgettable thing in the world.
Well, I think the one after it is.
I disagree with that.
Yeah.
All right, so it's a little bit,
all right. Well, so what happened?
I don't fucking know. I had a lot of mixed feelings about this album. And
Explain these feelings.
I was just well, obviously by press, I went back and forth, and I thought I was gonna give it this, but I'm like, God damn, there's some good shit.
There is some good shit here for sure.
Towards the end.
Oh yeah, and again, the closer is my favorite song on the album, which is the original closer is "The Dream's Dream."
That I agree with you. That is the best.
Oh yeah,
that's the best fucking song on here, and it's not even close.
It's like that main riff or the intro to it is one of the best riffs they've ever written. It's so fucking pretty. It's really unusual. It's still dark,
and it sticks out like a sore thumb in a good way, because like you get this like intricate guitar playing on the first album, and here it's mostly gone.
It's pretty neutered. Yeah.
And then on Dream, it's like, oh shit, that's why I came here. And
it's funny because Lloyd was not even on it. So he wasn't doing so well around this time period. He says, I ended up in the hospital during part of the recording of Adventure, and the band did a couple basics without me. The Dream is Dream is a song I had very little to do with. Had a great deal to do with Ain't That Nothing and the song Adventure, which is a bonus track. It's not even on the album. It's a bonus track.
Which is fucking crazy to me because it's so much better.
Oh, yeah.
It's a great song. Also, they cut the fucking title track.
They cut the title track. So
that's so insane to me.
Apparently, he said Lloyd says the song never made it on the record because Tom never finished it. And he says, and also I suspect because I had too much input into playing leads on it. Now getting into like, he said, she said. But
I should also say they fucking broke up this year too. I don't know what came first.
Wait. I thought they broke up in 82, or was it 70?
No, it was the same year. It was the same year, so I don't know if they broke up before or after the album, but either way.
No, it was after. I believe it was after, because right here it says, Tom, our boy said, he said, despite the album entering the UK charts at number 7, Lloyd said that the band knew they were done for in terms of radio airplay when they heard the new record by the Cars, also signed to Elektra.
You know what's funny? So much of this sounds like less memorable Cars songs.
Right? And he said, Verlaine described them as a commercial television and figured the label would focus their energies on them and forget about television. And that's when Verlaine pulled a Greg Ginn and quit his own band, effectively killing television.
That is such bullshit that he did not realize what made them unique and special. And like the Cars are fine.
Cars are great. I love the Cars.
I don't love them. I think they're fine, but I can't.
I think they're better than television, dude.
That's not even like a whatever. But I can't I don't know. I think there was obviously something unique and special in the water with like what television did on that first album. And I don't know. I just can't imagine listening to the Cars and being like, well, the
successor is here. Hey, time to pass the throne.
We're done. Like, no, like
they're still a different band. They don't do any of the crazy lead stuff.
No.
Especially not the guitar interplay that television does.
No, television had such a bigger palette of noises and sounds to play with than the Cars.
The Cars had a personality or had. Yeah. I forgot. Rico Kasich died a few years back.
Yeah.
a distinct personality like the Ramones, like Motorhead or whatever, like we're like, or AC/DC, like, oh, that's the Cars. And if you like that style, you're fucking on board.
Yeah. You know it when you hear it. And
where television has the range of, you get, a Marquee Moon, and then you also get Elevation or something where.
Yeah. I don't really like the term, but I brought it up earlier. You do really have a band who is like more rooted in that avant-garde thing, and then a band more rooted in
garage.
Yeah, pop that could be more pop and commercial, and I don't.
Yeah, I think they were on a lot of drugs, and they were discouraged, and they would hate each other.
100%. There's that going on too.
Yeah, especially with, at this point, Tom is a fucking dictator. I hate it when there's a member in the band that shares the name as a history guy, because I start mixing him up. Verlaine is a complete dictator at this point. But back to the album a little bit.
I don't like Foxhole is a fine song.
Sorry.
Look, if Thin Lizzy did that song, it'd be way better.
It sounds like a shitty Kiss song.
I thought Thin Lizzy.
I thought Kiss.
Yeah. I went that's like the closest thing we kind of get to like hard rock.
But. Yeah. I find it to be pretty. I mean, there is some for sure cool guitar stuff here and there. But as a whole song, I found it to be pretty forgettable. You're not a fan of Days, but I think it's very nice. It's not life changing. It's just pretty. It's on the more somber side. But the only actual thing that I think are really good, I mean, really, the three: The Dream's Dream, Adventure, and The Fire, which has some insanely cool guitar stuff.
We've had a lot of synced up best personal favorites, and obviously it's going to happen again here. But rarely, I guess we disagree on track 2. But I totally fucking
with those 3 being the
that in of itself is almost more fucking rare.
Yeah. To agree on songs per album, it is way more rare.
Like, hey, those 3,
and that's it. It's like you're fine skipping the rest of the album.
Yeah. So I agree with you 100% in that aspect.
Yeah, that The Fire is like, it's one of the 2 dark songs in this album, which is another thing. Like the dark songs are basically, they taking a backseat.
Also, there's a lot of other instruments and layers on there, and it's one of my favorite guitar solos. Speaking about his guitar solos, there's just something about that one that felt really unique and special to me. And then I listening to it, I don't know if it's like guitar noises or I was like, is that a fucking theremin?
It might be some synth stuff or some keyboard stuff. It's very theremin sounding.
Yes.
It's super fun. It's very cool. And again, really well done and unique melodies.
On the Discogs, I didn't see anyone credited as a theremin player, but
yeah, I'm sure it's just some fuckery with some effects and keyboards or something.
But there you go. Those 3 songs.
Yep. Those will be on the playlist.
Pluck them out.
Yeah. Yeah. A noticeable step down, and there is trouble afoot and that things have gone sour. But this is a very fun development in the progress of this episode. Our history man Tom says, in case viewers are thinking, what's with all Richard Lloyd's perspective? Why don't we get to hear Tom Verlaine's side of the story? Well, yeah, there was a quote from Tom Verlaine from an interview, and this is what he says. He says, "Television is something I never talk about. I've been hanging up on journalists all over Europe because that's all they want to talk about. It just doesn't interest me. People who were around then already know about it. People who weren't generally aren't interested, and I just don't think about the past." There it is.
I think that's kind of fair.
It's fair if he talked about it ad nauseum, but he hasn't talked about it at all.
At all.
She says, so you're getting Lloyd talking about the band, and you can be thankful. All right, so at least we got something.
We're Lloyd guys.
God damn. Verlaine seems to have a little bit of like, who gives a fuck about it? I mean, people are just going to think about. When you're a public figure and you're a musician or whatever, people are going to, put their own perception onto you anyway. Like, I'm not that interesting of a guy to where it's worth that. I'm not interested. I just don't feel like dealing with any of that.
It's so weird. I feel like we're that meme where it's like the worst person you know just made the the best point.
Wait, what?
There's like a meme where it's like the worst person you know just made the like.
Oh, I know. I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, made like a good point.
Yeah, everyone's got one.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, on paper, I don't totally agree with don't disagree with what he's saying.
Yeah, I mean, I get it.
But,
I agree.
yeah.
Especially with like, the whole, like, I mean, just who cares? I don't feel like talking about it. You know
what he did to the other members, and the sound is way more sinful than.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, ruining that drum sound on that first album. We'll never forgive them that one.
Unforgivable.
But they reformed.
92.
And
Damn, we've gone on so many side quests.
Oh yeah, no one was expecting this episode to be this beefy.
I fucking wasn't.
Definitely not. But we got one left, everybody, and we all know how it's going to go. But we're going to talk about it anyway because that's what we do here. So, you ready?
I'm ready.
This is the final album, 1992's, self-titled.
I hope you really, really like Velvet Underground now. Although that guitar playing is fucking nice.
The guitar playing on this album is fantastic.
Can't you see? It's Lou Petty.
This was, man, this is quite the album to listen to. It's very, very confusing.
It has some ups and downs, and this fucking sucks. This song, this opener anyway.
I think it's okay.
It's just like another bad Tom Petty style thing. Now what I see. Anybody who's not Tom Petty and sings like that, I fucking hate.
It's way more. Yeah, I don't know. I thought Lou Reed more than Mr. Free Falling.
I suppose either one you could pick either one. I don't really love Lou Reed.
Those are the only two guys.
I feel like Lou Reed did it because he wasn't a good singer. Tom Petty did it like as a style.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just
Guessing, really, but that's how it comes across. Worsley's favorite.
Worsley's favorite, and it took me a little bit to get there.
Dude, 3 episodes in a row, we came exact picks. Unprecedented, dude.
Mercury truly is in retrograde. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, but, it means you're on your period.
Initially, I was going to give it to Adventure because I really like the guitar playing on this album. I think it's vastly more interesting than Adventure.
Yeah.
But ultimately, the songs don't hit the same as the 3 best songs on Adventure. So I'm like, oh man, like I think if you're a fan of the band, like definitely give this a listen.
There was stuff to be had on here for sure.
It's not I don't think it's a horrible album.
No, and it's also not even close to the worst reunion album we've covered.
No, like there's some interesting things on here, but just. Yeah,
there's some real upsetting moments. By far, this album has all of their absolute worst songs.
I think that, unlike you, I wasn't like overtly angry at it. I was just like, man, those three songs on Adventure are.
Yeah. I mean, they are great, but this, shit, man, like. There's some okay. So let's talk first about the production because they had originally had 23, like not offers, but they had 23 labels interested, and they fucking whittled that shit down to 2 because they raised the prices like a lot. That's the thing that continues to happen with Tom Verlaine. Really only, like, I mean, in his defense. It's kind of cool that he knows what he's worth. Yeah. But some bitch just is like, pay it up, pay it. All right, I'm not doing shit till you pay me. Like, he's a money man.
I don't disagree with that. If you are, have that product, you can market like that.
You sure can. So this is the deal. They went with Capitol, and the deal they made, according to Lodi, says no one was allowed in the studio from the record company, and we produced it ourselves. Tom produced the record along with Fred Smith because Fred originally joined television wanting to produce us. Fred found out how rigid Tom was later on, but Tom and Fred became good buddies, and it stayed that way as far as I know. So yeah, they finally produced the record themselves, and it sounds, I don't know, kind of flimsy and not bad.
Because I read that quote and I don't know. I disagree with what was it that Lloyd thinking it sounds like
Television Light.
Yeah,
I agreed with that. How can you disagree?
I don't agree. I don't agree with it. It's not a home run by any means, but it feels more in the spirit of a Marquee Moon than a Venture does, even if it misses the mark a little bit.
Yeah, it certainly does, but there are some more ambitious moments compared to the last album.
Yeah, so I don't know if I'm doing more for more like I noticed the fucking effort here, and I was intrigued by a lot of the guitar playing on this album.
It is pretty fucking interesting. Yeah, in a lot of places, and like with the track 2, Shane, she wrote this. It's like they didn't release this band didn't release a single album in the 80s, and yet they channeled all of the 80s into a lot of these songs. Like a lot of this feels pretty 80s.
Verlaine heard one Cramps album and he was like, let's fucking do it. And
Cramps?
I thought about the Cramps list.
Well, I know what song you're thinking of. Was it fucking Beauty Trip?
I fucking hate that song.
God, blows, dude.
That's the worst song on the album.
But it has some truly fantastic guitar lines in there. Really, I really hate the song, but there was like some moments like, God damn, it's a cool little lick there. Like really, like it's a weird feeling when you hear this exceptional little line, and it's just, there it is, it's done, and the rest of the song is back to this generic horseshit. It's all over the album.
Yeah, I kind of felt that way about Mars. Where I was like, we're doing another blues song, but then they went Birthday Party Light, dude.
And again, ends the album with my favorite song. Mars is the only time we will ever have gotten Verlaine wild and screaming.
Yep.
He literally sounds like Birthday Party Nick Cave in some spots.
Yeah, that's not my favorite song on the album, but it is.
What's your favorite song on the album?
My favorite song is Call Mr. Lee. Because
really?
Yes.
Really?
How do you not? It's like
it's all Desperado-y.
Yeah, that's why
it makes me laugh.
Awesome.
It does have one of the probably the best soul on the album for sure.
Yeah, like how do you this kind of feels like blasphemy, but like how do you I'm not saying it's an Eno Morricone.
I know you were going there.
I'm not saying it's an Eno Morricone on the same level.
Just because something is Spanish doesn't mean it's close to Morricone, all right?
I know, but it's still a win for me, and I like it. I think, yeah.
Another one that I liked specifically and exclusively because it is probably the weirdest song they've ever done. The Rocket.
That is weird.
Wow.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah.
Structurally, it's all over the fucking place.
Yeah.
It has these really low endy tribal style drums. This groovy, damn near silly main bass line accompanied by these hideous guitar lines. It's just, and then the chorus, beautiful.
Yeah.
It's just such a fucked up song.
This is by far one of the most interesting and intriguing Worsley's favorite albums.
Yeah, it's definitely the most you could talk about it.
It is kind of tricky on these unless it's Gravediggers with these 3 album discographies.
Yeah. It wasn't nearly as bad as I was expecting, like by a long shot, but the lows are still quite low. I mean, and not just Beauty Trip, this tune, the song, this tune. Oh God.
It's real bad.
God, it's
real bad.
And which is so strange that it's sandwiched by The Rocket and Mars, which is 2 of their craziest songs. Yeah. And that is arguably one of the most basic, boring bitch songs.
Yeah. Also, the No Glamour for Willie, the Lou Reed vocals were really.
Yeah.
I like when Lou Reed does it, but someone else doing it, especially someone who had their own style doing it, that I think that was this on another few listens. I was like, yeah, you're getting it.
That song isn't bad, and the guitar lines are, like I said, they're very cool and it has some really neat tremolo effects on them. But Verlaine's voice is so bad on that song. It really does bring down the whole experience. It's crazy.
It is. Who would thought an egomaniac prioritizing himself would bring down the whole? That's a good metaphor for the band. Well, I can't even say that because they fucking recorded one of the most beloved albums ever and are in demand for festivals and concerts.
You look at that album and it was a different thing. Like, it wasn't his show. Like, he was heavily leading it, but people were still fighting for their place in the band.
Yeah, but I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, in spite of all that, still command this like legendary status.
Yeah, I still think it's undeserved. I think it's deserved to be like respected and enjoyed, but like, legendary.
I think this guy knows the less is more route is the way to go, and
definitely. And since we're on that, like, I mean, actually, this is a quote that referenced the thing I said earlier about the money stuff. So they after this reunion, they kept playing until are they still touring?
They don't like tour. They play very sporadically.
They never officially broke up, but they don't tour.
I think they like when those like big festivals can come a knocking.
That's exactly it. Well, because Lloyd left in 2007, but this is what he says. Tom would only go on tour when the money was substantial. Of course, when we did go out on tour, I profited from this state of affairs, but I was sick of it. From the very beginning, I wanted to tour extensively, even if it left us in debt, because that was a way of building our career. But Tom declined anything except instant money. Now, interesting quote, because the wording of that is insanely biased. Instant money is one way to say it, or something that's worth it is another way to say it.
Yeah.
He clearly cared more about being in a band and making the music and going out, whereas Tom really fucking didn't want to deal with any of that.
he's over it. He's like, I will dance for you for a certain amount of money. And
I respect both.
Yeah.
If it were me, I would probably be more of the former category of just going out and doing it all the time. But dude, when you're tired and you're fucking done with the road and you're done with these fucking managers and these, club owners or whoever. Yeah. Fuck you. I'll take my paycheck and I won't do it. I just won't do it.
Yeah. Verlaine sounds like for the few wrestling fans, he sounds like what CM Punk is right now.
Oh boy.
Which I'm not going to get into wrestling lore, but this made me think of him saying, I'm tired, I'm old, I'm beat up, and I work with fucking children. I don't agree with that, but the sentiment was fun. Well, the quote was funny, and I get those vibes from Verlaine.
Yeah, I respect it. I respect it from a human level, maybe not a musician or like artist level. I kind of respect from that level too. I like it. I like curmudgeons because I so relate to curmudgeons. Just like, dude, I'm gonna go home. It's what I don't want to do. I don't want to be out here. It's cold.
Ironically, I feel too old to deal with curmudgeons.
Yeah, it is a little ironic.
It is ironic. Like I've had enough. It's like time to be happy.
Time to be. But the thing is, that's the thing. That is happy. Being left alone. Not being forced to go out and do a thing that other people enjoy that you don't, but they don't understand that you don't enjoy it.
This is all very circumstantial. Yes, it is.
Yeah,
it totally is. So different strokes for different folks to rule the world. Also, I had to look it up because I didn't want to lie again. I think I may have chosen to watch Primus over television at a music festival.
Which one?
Desert Days 2018.
Oh shit!
I think I chose to watch Primus, or unless they were on different days, that I would have to look up. But I may have chose to watch the Black Angels and Primus over television.
Black Angels. Who's that? Who's that again?
They're like a stoner psychedelic rock band, but I had never. I didn't listen. Like I said,
didn't know about television.
Well, I knew of them.
Right.
And then Black Angels. I love Black Angels. I love their sound. And to this day, that's the only time I saw them. So I regret nothing.
All right, fair enough. Yeah, I think. I mean, out of enjoyment, I would like to see Primus more, but I mean, you can. I've already seen them twice. There's no reason. Like, yeah.
No, I guess in hindsight, I would have picked television.
Just for the fact that it doesn't really happen.
I had no idea the touring schedule.
Of course. But after that, I mean, apparently they did. This is from an interview with Uncut. The band went to the studio in 2007 to record a follow-up to the self-titled album. They laid down some tracks without solos or vocals and then never touched them again. And that's it. And that's the last. I
believe that.
It definitely fits Verlaine's MO of writing a bunch of songs and then scrapping them, which is something he did a lot early on.
Unless you're gonna bring in Q-Tip to help you record your last album ever,
dude. Television collab with Q-Tip.
Don't ever. That last Tribe album is just like, it's an anomaly.
Yeah, it's that one, and well, never mind. I was gonna reference Fetus, but they've released albums since.
Yeah.
But like, not that Fetus is a bad band, but like one of the latest out, like I think it was Hyde, which came out like 2010 or something. It was like this incredible, crazy cinematic thing, and it's like, wait, where'd this come from?
No, yeah, I'm like comeback and last album ever to go out on such a fucking high note. Yeah, it's fucking crazy.
Wild stuff, but
yeah, if you can't Q-Tip yourself, don't record ever.
If you can't yeah, you heard him. Shit. But yeah, I mean that's the end.
We did it.
Not much of an interesting recap. We have the same picks. You know, Marquee Moon, best, personal favorite, shocker, and television self-titled, worst least favorite, which is I think is universal. Who doesn't agree with that? I don't even fucking care. But
no, I could see a case. Well, maybe because I was doing. I could see a case for Adventure being made.
Yeah, I think it wouldn't though. And for most people, just because it was in the original era
of the era.
Yeah, like it's so much more excusable to shit on a reunion album than one of, you know.
I mean, my track record, you know, on going back to like that Stooges episode, I am fucking forgivable with reunion albums.
Sure are, dude. I'm so ruthless against those fucking Stooges albums.
I, you know, rarely call them classics, but I think like for what a lot of them are like, it's fun.
And there's another influential New York band, Stooges.
The Stooges.
Oh, they weren't New York. They're from Detroit, weren't they?
Detroit, yeah.
Yeah, thanks so much for listening and watching and hanging out. If you want to hang out with us further for, you know, we do this every week pretty much. You're going to go ahead and hit subscribe. Please do that. You could also, you know, leave your picks for best and worst or leave your little opinions in the comments. Talk some shit about us. Call us big old giant doo-doos if you want to do that. And of course, like the video. It helps us something. Helps us something. You find a full playlist on television in the description, or a link to it anyway, with 3 songs from the second album and probably 2 songs from the last album, and then the entirety of the first album. You can also follow me on all social media at Panda Monkey and Alex on Instagram.
Every album, Alex.
Hell yeah.
Still working on saying that normally.
I know. Please be sure to check out our history guy, Tom Osman, on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Tom Osman Sounds, as well as his Substack, tomosman.substack.com. He's a big old music writer. He's not, I don't know how big he is, but he writes lots. And his debut album, So Much for All in Day's Work, which is there's a link to that in the description, as well as all Spotify's and Apple Music. And lastly but not leastly, it's not even lastly, second to lastly, but not second to leastly, my debut EP, Panda Monkey. Check that out. There's a link to that in the description as well. For real, lastly, and for real, not leastly,
the most important,
Patreon.com/every album ever. There you get the bonus episodes. You get to see our schedule in advance. You get to vote on polls to decide who we cover next. You get to join a Discord, be a part of our community, and as well as suggest our shorter EAE singles episodes. We take all our requests from Discord directly. And if you want to really be cool, want to be real cool. Tier 2, baby. Bigger than Jesus. There you get to suggest these full episodes, these big old episodes. I mean, this wasn't big. It was long, but it wasn't a long discography. But Tier 2 gets to suggest full discography episodes for us. And just by being pledged, any other requests you got, the first one gets put in the schedule meeting. Every other request gets put in the Patreon poll where we can pick it out at random like we did with this one. We pulled this from the poll. And you could do that. And I think you should do that and rad and cool and go ahead and do that. I think that's about it.
Yep.
Hell yeah. So what we gonna wrap it with?
I know you like them longer, but I think we should play the Dream Stream because it's like a diamond in a rough. Like, I feel like everyone.
That is, you know it, and we must.
Yes.
Because everyone knows the first album.
Everyone knows it.
We all love the songs in the first, but no one's going to go out and seek out Adventure by Television.
And it's buried. It's fucking buried. So I want to do the song some justice.
Hell yeah. So thank you so much for listening and watching. See ya.